Ahoy! New World is getting an update 1.12, which comes with at least one very crucial change that I specifically want to talk about a little bit because there are some misunderstandings around it. So, when it comes to the world experience, they had one fix specifically here that caused players to receive more PvP experience than intended in the Cursed Mist Zone. So, this was effectively an exploit. And what would happen here is that when you enter the zone, you'll immediately be worth 800 PvP XP, which is quite a lot for just being flagged, rather than having that build-up that you normally have with any kind of PvP activity, where after a while, I think after like 10 minutes or something, you're worth that much, or I think they cut it down to 5, but whatever, it takes a while. Now, obviously you need to wait a little bit until you're flagged in the zone, but this was still significantly better farm than anything else when it comes to PvP XP. Mikro talked about this a little bit ago, and in his video he mentioned that someone or some people on a server were able to get to PvP track 200 with this. And I wanted to clear this up a little bit because it seems that right now there's an understanding that everyone that used this is now PvP track 200 pretty much. So what happened with this exploit was the following. People would just run to the edge of the zone and kill each other. And if it was just two people killing each other, like back and forth, then they would get this 800 XP roughly every 2 minutes, because you'd be killing the other person, you get your 800 XP, then they have to run back in, they have to be flagged again, which takes a while because you can't spawn right at the edge of the zone, you have to walk in from a little bit further. Then after that timer, they get their kill, and you get your back and forth, and roughly 1 minute per kill, so roughly 2 minutes to get 800 XP, which is still a very good pace. This is faster than what other modes currently offer, but by itself that's not an insane pace that would immediately boost you to 200 track. What can do that is if a whole company specifically decides to dedicate their resources, their people, into boosting one person and just letting that one person kill other people over and over and over, and that's how you actually get some people that get to 200 track that way. But realistically, for most people, that is not what happened. So this exploit was definitely providing an advantage, but it wasn't as massive as it seems in most situations. There were some more optimized ways in which some people did this. I heard something about the optimal number being 5 people that do this rotation. Sure, I don't know. I'm guessing that would slightly increase the efficiency, but overall it would still not give you a massive boost, again, except if one person does all the killing and all the others just keep dying and don't actually farm themselves. In previous situations where people found a way to boost PvP track XP, they were usually not punished for that. Instead, they did what they are doing now. They just did a fix and they didn't revert anything, which meant people that exploited it early, exploited often, got the biggest advantage out of it. I'm expecting that to once again be the case here. What I personally am much more interested in is them doing a general overhaul to the PvP track and how it works, because clearly the reason this exploit got so popular in the first place was because of how tedious and annoying it is to actually try to level the track and actually get to the point where you can get any artifacts, compared to the PvE artifacts, which are all relatively easy to get in comparison. Arenas in particular are, I think, in a middle ground between what they used to be in terms of track XP and what they were nerfed to. I think they're at 1,750 now, if I recall correctly. So they are somewhat worth doing, but even with them, it's still an extreme grind to actually get far enough on the track to get artifacts. I'm not sure why there's still this limitation to only get artifacts after a certain point, or a lot of valuable items generally being gated to very high tracks, when realistically New World Aeternum was meant to be somewhat of a reset for most people, where a lot of people start on a fresh start server as well, and it just makes the PvP track experience extremely annoying. And I would much rather see a good PvP track experience that doesn't encourage people to exploit, but instead makes them want to play PvP properly, actually take fights and be rewarded for it to a degree that makes sense. I think the Cursed Mist Zone as a whole is something most people don't take particularly seriously. I don't really see many people consistently running it that are actually looking for PvP. People are using it for gathering to get the coconut or to meme around at the border apparently, or exploit at the border. So really, I don't expect much coming from that. And I would much rather see a focus on the PvP modes that are proven to actually provide PvP, like for example 30 Thieves and like OPR and maybe even Wars to some extent. Additionally, there are some other fixes in this patch. There was some progression problem with the Syndicate faction advancement. There were repeatable expedition quests that didn't count to the season journey, and there were issues with players phasing into certain objects while accessing menus while voting, which could get you stuck a fair bit. There are also some adjustment to the DirectX 12 beta client to FSR specifically. You can see them right here, and similar things for console as well. We're also getting some visual fixes as well as something that could cause a crash if you're missing a texture, and now it shows a white texture instead. If you're seeing weird white textures in your game, then you might want to run a validation on your files on Steam in order to avoid any problems in the future. There are also some more specific fixes here, and then there's one that says fix an issue that prevented nameplates from appearing. I wonder what exactly this involves, because we know that in PvP there are a lot of issues with nameplate at the moment, mainly caused by the fact that we can no longer adjust the visible nameplate count. So maybe this will help with this somewhat, but I am not too hopeful. I really hope they just bring back the nameplate slider, which I'm guessing they won't do because it would give PC an advantage over console, where that might cause too many performance issues to do. But I think it's very frustrating to have only such limited vision of if the people around you are even your allies or not. It is unclear if there are further bug fixes in this patch. They would be desperately needed. There are a lot of issues that are currently still in the game. I'm not going to discuss all of them in detail, but you can think of any aspect of the game really, and you will find some significant portion of bugs for that particular aspect, be it combat, be it menu navigation, be it things as simple as fast traveling. So yeah, I hope they've just fixed some of those on the back end and not mention them here. That's possible. Don't know if they have. We will find out. But I'm not getting too hopeful either. If you're interested in more New World related updates, then consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get notified when those come out. And if you'd like to support me further, you can do so on Patreon. Thanks to all of my patrons who do exactly that and get early trading tips in return. And thank you for watching. Duke Sloth, out.